with the rescuing thing. And I think this is something I've had to look at with myself because I've done so much work.
Because Heidi is not afraid to dig through the shit to find the gold. And this is one of the things that I love about her.
And like, it's made me more determined to like do the things that I want to do and achieve. But it's also made me more determined to do them in the way that I want to do them. Like I said, my dad, the reason why I'm so good at reading a room is because my dad's mood determined the house. He was an incredible businessman, an incredible entrepreneur, and I don't get to share that journey with him anymore.
Welcome to Unmasked Founders with Leslie Kay. This is the podcast that goes beyond the highlight reel of entrepreneurship. Instead of focusing on the accolades and achievements, this show explores the real moments that shape founders, the challenges, the breakthroughs, and the lessons that transform both the business and the human behind it. Hosted by me, Leslie Kay, an entrepreneur who has built empires and discovered the cost of success. Unmasked Founders is a space for honest conversations about growth, resilience, and staying true to who you are. Whether listeners are just starting out or scaling to the next level, this is where real stories are told. Welcome to Unmasked Founders, a conversation with me, Leslie Kay.
Hi, and welcome to Unmasked Founders, the conversations behind the highlight reels where we talk to entrepreneurs about what it really takes to build success. The conversations that aren't often seen or talked about, although with my next guest, they probably are, because Heidi is not afraid to dig through the shit to find the gold. And this is one of the things that I love about her. Heidi, thank you for joining me.
Do you know why I love finding the gold? Is because it's therapy. Like coming onto a podcast like this, I don't have to pay for therapy.
Truly.
It's one of my favorite things, like, is to have these conversations so that I then learn more about myself. And I think that's why I love it so much.
I love that. And I'm going to echo that. It's probably why I love hosting these conversations because through conversation, we get insight into our own thoughts, our own patterns, other people's belief systems and insights, and we can use it to really be in deeper relationship with ourselves, which I really love.
And, you know, some people might call it self-obsessed, but I'm like, this is my personal development.
I actually, truthfully, I was having this conversation the other day. Someone said to me that there's too many selfish people in the world. And I would actually counter that. I think there's not enough selfish people in the world. And selfish in the sense that we really should put ourselves first above everything else. And where I think we've kind of gotten it wrong is we put our kids first, we put our job first, we put our partner first. And not enough people are like, fuck everyone else. What do I want and need? And build their lives and businesses from that place.
I 100% agree. Like, even thinking about like all the stuff that I do in other people's opinions as well. Like, sometimes we put their opinions first instead of selfishly thinking, well, what about my opinion?
Yes.
And like, for me, that's a whole thing that I've had to kind of like train myself to be more selfish and worry about my own self instead of everyone else.
Truly. I love that because, one of the biggest things that changed my life was when I left my ex-husband and closed my big business. I had this realization that for most of my life, I'd put everyone else above me. And I woke up one morning, like the day that I left him, and I was like, oh, I'm actually going to choose me. And it was really, really hard. Yeah. And the reason it had been hard was because everyone else expected me to stay with him. Yeah. Everyone else was like, but he's such a good guy and he loves you. Like, why would you do that? And I let their opinion shape my decision for a very long time. Like, it took me, they say women check out 12 months before they actually leave. I had. Yeah. But I was ruminating on this. What will people think of me? People love him. Why don't I, basically? Yeah. What do they see that I don't? And then it took work and maybe some plant medicine and understanding myself better, where I was like, oh, fuck, I'm actually in this relationship for their opinions and what they're going to think of me, not what I want.
Oh my gosh. And I think so many people would resonate with that because they probably don't leave because, oh, that's selfish. Like, that's like,
truly,
you know? Yeah.
Before we get into some deep questions, I want to talk about your success. So one success is your book, something that's on my bucket list to write, but I don't even know where to start. We'll get into that later.
I can give you some tips.
Yeah. So, you know, you're the PR queen. You have these amazing programs. You help people with confidence and actually the confidence to pitch themselves. I know because I'm in your program and it's great. Yeah. Talk to me about where you are and then we'll get into what it's taken you to get here.
Oh gosh, like, well, where do I start? Because sometimes I get you to do this in my program. I'm like, timeline your accolades and your life, because when you do, you really start to, everyone has had so much success. Like that's the honest truth. And I'm really good at tooting my own horn of like street cred, but I've had to do that as a breakfast radio host, TV host, all of the things that I've done. You have to be able to sell yourself in a really short amount of time, but also not make it egotistical.
Truly.
So yes, I am an author. My book, do you know what? I only wrote a post today. Like, fuck, it was hard. It was the hardest thing. Like, I can sell a $3,000 program, but to sell a $30 book, do you know how fucking hard that is? To make your friends and family buy it and then also the world? Like, it's so hard. So that's a really great success, but it was also like one of the hardest things that I've ever done. But yeah, TV, radio, I was on Big Brother. Everything has got me to where I am today, but like there's been so much hardship over the years and the pressure that I've put on myself to be successful. So I worked for the English rugby team. I've got a PR degree. Like my very first radio job that I went for when I was 18 at the radio station in Bathurst where I grew up, I'd done all of this free stuff for nearly a year and then they hired someone else. And so I was devastated. But I look back at that now and I'm like, oh, that was actually success starting, because I would have probably been still doing fucking breakfast radio in Bathurst, like never leaving, 4 kids, like all this, nothing against having 4 kids. But do you know what I mean? Like I would have stayed like all my mates, but instead they said no to me. And then I went and had this life in London and I traveled the world and I met my husband and I did my, my radio career, which was 20 years in the media. I've been in the media. So yeah, and that's led me to running my own programs and stuff now and writing a book.
I absolutely love that because the whole intention of this podcast is to help women that are in business or starting a business or feel like they want to burn their business down.
Yeah, done that too.
Yeah, me too. To actually give them a perspective shift. So I love that you've literally just said that you really wanted it really bad and it's like you had this plan and then the plan didn't work, but in retrospect, it was the best thing that happened to you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And you could have easily just stopped there.
And I didn't have the awareness that I have now.
No.
And so I threw all my fucking toys out of the pram. You know what I mean? And I nearly burnt all my bridges, but I didn't, because there was something inside of me that was a little bit conscious and aware. And also, you know me, one of my highest values is relationships. I teach it in the PR programs and stuff I do now. But I remember my mum, because she'd obviously run her own coffee shop up the road from that radio station, she was like, I know this is really hard, but you still go back on Monday. And because I was still doing free shit there. Like I was still going, I was getting up at 5 o'clock every morning when I was at uni and going in and listening to the breakfast show and learning and doing all these things when I was 18, 19. And so my mum was like, you go back there and you show up on Monday. Her. And I did. And then I kept going back even when the new girl started who got the job that I wanted. I still showed up and I still listened to their show and I still supported it and went in. And I remember getting overseas and when I'd been 2 years in London working in what my degree was and doing all the things, I remember sitting there and I was like, I fucking want to go back and I want to do radio. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? And so I made contact with my old boss.
Yes.
And he welcomed me with open arms 4 years later. And he was the one that helped me and mentored me to get into the Australian Film, Television, Radio School those few years later. So
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. So for me, the lesson in that is, because you're right. We've both done a lot of work to have a lot of
perspective,
but if you're in it, it's harder to see it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think for me, it's like just trust that everything is working out for you. And maybe this is the first conversation that you're hearing that shifts that perspective.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people get to those points and they're like, well, I should give up or I should stop or it's hard, so it's not for me, or if it was meant to be for me, it would be easy versus the resilience that people need. And for me, again, with the wisdom that I have now, it's like, I'm committed to my mission more than I'm committed to my excuses.
Yeah.
I'm committed to the vision of I'm going to be a PR something. I'm going to be a TV host. I'm going to be a radio host.
Yeah.
More than maybe the part of us that doesn't feel worthy, or the part of us that thinks a setback means the end. So I love this resilience piece. Talk to me about a moment in business, and just whatever comes to your mind first. It could be from any timeline, because I know you've had a big life. What's a moment where you thought that you couldn't keep going?
So many, but like, let's just talk about the most recent, you know, and I don't feel burnt out. Like, I've definitely been fucking burnt out at this time of the year. Like, a couple of years ago, cold sores on my face, like fully inflamed in my body, like, you know, feeling depressed, all those things when I was a new mum and starting my business out. But it was only recently, and I'm like trying to sell into my workshop. And the very first day that I started to sell into a recent workshop that I was running about getting PR in the media this time of the year, I've just pivoted a little bit with my business, not doing so much done for you PR anymore, and moving back into the coaching, because I need the space for me, for family, and for next year I've got speaking gigs coming. Like, well, they're already here. So I had this moment and I launched it and no one bought the first day. And I started to spiral. So for me, I sat down and I just let myself cry, and I said to hubby, like, what the fuck? And he goes, you know, you do this every single time you launch something. And then I had to look at myself and I went, oh, I'm so in the creative phase. Like, my adrenaline's like boom, 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 100 miles an hour, like this, that. I'm fucking happy. I'm excited. I'm doing all these things. And then I launched something and my nervous system and everything just drops. And I was like, why am I doing this? Like, in my head. And then I'm catching myself, but I also just allowed myself to have that moment. I then shared it in the mastermind group and I said, like, I just need to go have 2 hours. And I did. I went for a walk. I did the things. And then I came back and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't want to burn it down again. And then I started selling.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I give myself 24 hours.
Yeah, but we don't, do we? Because of the instant gratification we need these days.
Well, 24 hours to feel.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, that's
again,
good.
Because then we can shame ourselves for feeling like
I'm really
this,
good at
or I shouldn't be feeling this way, or it should be easier, or so I lost a client the other day and I spiraled for 24 hours. I was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I can't scale 2 businesses at the same time. And so I give myself 20, like a little pity party of like, just feel it. Like, I'm allowed to feel shame, guilt, anger, whatever it is in the moment. And then the next day I get up and I'm like, right, how do we fix it? What did we learn from it? What's the evolution that's going to come from this?
It's so important.
So
isn't
important. And I think because we don't often give space to the feelings, it's like, well, I've got to be resilient. And I talk about resilience all the time, but I give space to what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. It's like I'm giving permission to that part of me to be like, I don't need you to be perfect.
Yes.
And I'm going to back you the whole way through. And you're allowed to be sad for a day, but it doesn't define every other decision that we're going to make.
Yeah, but in that moment it does, doesn't it? And you're like, I'm going to do this, and like you start to spiral. And I think you touching on the shame stuff, that still runs a big part of my makeup. And, you know, diagnose ADHD, if you want to put me in a box. Is it trauma? Could be. Does medication work for me? Yes. So I'm owning it. But like the shame is huge, and it comes through in my whole body. And so that for me is like the other thing with the ADHD, and also who I am as a person, I think obviously programming and everything is fixing. I go straight into like, so I'll feel it like, yeah, okay, cool. And then it's like, right, fix it. And like my brain is like, I'm the person that everyone comes to fix shit in their life. Like, because I'm so fucking good at fixing shit, like, or knowing what to say and this, that for me, it's like that I probably need to spend more time allowing the feelings to prolong rather than going straight in
to fixing it. Yeah, for me it's a permission piece that I don't need you to be perfect to be successful, and I don't need to be perfect to love you, like the internal dialogue. Yeah. So I get and I actually create space for myself to feel. Yeah. So on this day I literally, I mean, if it was a really important meeting I'd probably keep it, but I was like, you know what, I can move everything that's in my calendar today.
Yes, I love
and
that.
I'm just going to give myself the space to be in a little pity party, and I cried and I ate chocolate.
Yes.
And I let myself spiral a little on like, fuck, this sucks. And then I got up the next day and I was it's like I had the awareness that although this part of my mind was talking and saying that I'm going to burn it down, I knew that was never an option.
No, I see you.
It's like, so in like parts work, it's called titration.
Yeah.
So it's like you've got one foot in the past actually, because you're probably feeling a past emotion or event where you weren't good enough or you felt you weren't good enough, and one foot in reality where it's like I kind of have to talk the part of me off a ledge that wants to just spiral. Be like, look, babe, I see you.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're feeling, and I'm going to give you space today to feel it. But the part of you that thinks you're going to burn it to the ground and that you suck, like I know that you know that that's not true.
Yeah.
And I know that you know that by tomorrow we'll be fine.
Yes.
So how about today we just spiral and feel all the feelings, and then tomorrow I use it now to fuel my big audacious goals or big audacious pitches, or I kind of use it as an indicator because we're always talking to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Internally. And I use it as we're like crazy psycho. Anyone that's watching, we're all lunatics. It's fine.
But you don't even get all of the stuff.
You don't. You just get parts of it. It's like a record that's half broken and you only get some of the words.
Yeah.
But I use it as an indicator that there's a part of me that feels like I'm not playing a big enough game and that I'm not making big enough moves.
Yeah.
And so recently I've used it as who do you want to pitch, or where do you feel like you're not doing enough? Because that's often what it comes down to for me. Like I'm not doing enough. So
or it's not like good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah.
So rather than cry about it, I give her a day and then I'm like, cool. So if you were going to use that as fuel, what is it fueling?
Yes.
And I'll pitch a TEDx, or I'll pitch a guest on my podcast who I think is going to say no.
Yeah.
And I'll use the motivation in that moment to be like, cool, so just play bigger.
Yeah.
Because you're already crying about it.
Yeah.
We may as well find
You're already
something
being a little bitch, so come on. Yeah. But I love that because it's like finding the things that motivate you and like that, for you know what I mean, like, and having those moments. And I'm exactly the same. It's like, and also like once you remove the emotion, it's kind of like logically you're like, okay, yeah, well that client actually wasn't 100% aligned with me. I was doing way more for them than I would anyone else. Or do you know what I mean? Like there's always these things, you know, and I believe, like having worked in breakfast radio, not everyone likes me, and I don't like everyone. Like I had to really learn that early, and it still stings when I'm not liked straight away. Or you might, but it's the same thing like when you lose a client or whatever, and you get this perspective afterwards, and it doesn't always come in that 24 hours, but like for you to use it like for fuel, like I love that. Yeah.
What do you feel is the hardest lesson you've learned?
In business?
Yeah, in general, in the whole journey of building success.
I think the hardest. I think the hardest thing that I have found is like living with the polarity of what's going on in your own life. You know, and that for me is very raw right now. But also like when I was a new mum, like I couldn't, and I was left my radio career and I was going through all this identity stuff and being a new mum, and then like trying to set up a business and trying to show everyone, like totally I set my first business up on trauma, you know, like I was setting it up so everyone gave me validation. And so that was like obviously came out, and then like how do you function in your business when that's going on for you personally? Like there's, you know, I was having all this success, but I was like feeling like absolute shit. And then recently with my dad, he is diagnosed with dementia. But I've also birthed some of the most amazing, brilliant things, and I'm also living, and I'm so present because I'm seeing that he's losing his life and he's coming to the end. And he's also such a huge inspiration of where I'm at in my journey because he was an incredible businessman, an incredible entrepreneur, and I don't get to share that journey with him anymore. And you know, so for me, it's like finding these polars. Like I have so much success and I have so much happiness, and I love my clients. I love doing what I do. I love talking on stage. I can't wait to do more things next year. But then I'm like, my dad's losing his life, and this is it. And you know, like and that's the stuff that you deal with, and I don't think people talk about that enough. Yeah. And that's probably the hardest thing for me. And then even when Griffo didn't want to have another baby, And I dealt with that 2 years ago, and now we're really good and we've made the decision. Even though I still say it, it still hurts a little bit. But, you know, and then you're trying to run a business, you're trying to serve, you're trying to do all the things, show up. Like, this is like life.
Firstly, thank you for your vulnerability. I love this conversation, and thank you for bringing it in, because life will continue to life. And I think, you know, for me, the past version of me, the boss babe badass, like no emotion, used to be the type of leader that would say, leave your home life at the door.
You can't.
You can't. And even to myself, I would, you know, I was going through a marriage breakdown, and no one in my office knew back then. They started asking where he was because he worked in my business, but I didn't tell anyone. I didn't show emotion. I locked everything down, and I was like, this is home and this is business.
Yeah.
For me, and with the awareness that I have now, I think it makes you a better leader.
100%.
I think it brings into perspective too, like as I hear you talking, it's like holding that it matters and that you want a business, and holding that presence is more important than anything. That the one thing you can't buy is time. And as a business owner, when you're making decisions, it's kind of great that you have, it sucks for you and your dad, but it's kind of great that you have this perspective, because what I see a lot of is people putting success above happiness.
Yes.
And putting success above things that they actually care about. And I would say this has actually made you realize what you value versus what you think you should value.
Yeah. And like, it's made me more determined to like do the things that I want to do and achieve. But it's also made me more determined to do them in the way that I want to do them. And that's not like, you know, you sign up to things and they tell you how to run a coaching program or this or that. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm still working it out. I'm a breakfast radio host, for God's sake, and I did TV. Like, do you know what I mean? Systems and all that isn't my thing, whereas that was my dad's thing. And so that's why, like, I miss that I can't have those conversations with him as he journeys this next round of like the phases that he goes through. But it's also made me go like, fuck, when I'm with him, we are so present and we are enjoying life and we are doing the things and we're having the conversations that we want to have and we need to have. And then I'm like, cool, I'm still going to achieve the things that I want to achieve, but I'm doing it my way. And I think when you and I first started working together, after my PR day and in my PR program, I decided to change the format because I was like, I'm giving so much. It made me realize how much I just used to give people, because it was like I didn't know how to do it any other way.
Yes.
And then I had this like, you know, aha moment when all the stuff happened with my dad, that I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to give so much. This is how I can do it. And so that for me has been the last year, rebuilding my life. How it doesn't mean that my dreams haven't changed. Like, I'm still running a PR program. I've got really big speaking gigs coming in next year. And that's my priority with my dad and my health. So like, it just rejigged how to set myself up in
boundaries and values.
Yeah.
And I think we've had some conversations because I'm like, Heidi, come do this. And you were like, I want to say yes. And I'm really practicing saying no to things that aren't in my priorities right now. So like, firstly, I love that. Yeah. One of the things I teach is boundaries.
Yeah.
Because and to your point before about I give so much, the biggest thing I see in women in business is we overgive because we want to be loved. And oftentimes, I said this the other day, people I think sometimes assume I'm shallow and only care about business and money because I default to conversations about business because I feel safe there.
Yes.
I'm good at this. I understand this. I can help you. Let me help you so you like me.
I'll fix you.
So it's like the awareness around like, one, being misunderstood, I think has been huge for me. Yeah. Like, I'm okay for people to misunderstand me, because you could have said no and thought, fuck, Leslie might hate me because I'm saying no to things. Yeah. Versus, and I didn't clearly. I was like, fuck yeah, celebrating you. Sucks you're not going to be there, and I'm happy for you. But yeah, I think understanding what you value as well. It's like God has given you a gift of, what are you going to choose here? Yeah, because for so long I wasn't actually choosing it. Yeah. And so, it's – and similar, it's, you know, I had to lose a multi-million-dollar business and my ex-husband to be like, oh, I don't actually know who I am and what I want. Yeah. And I don't – unfortunately, we often learn our lessons in adversity. Yeah. And it's like you've been given the gift of, this is going to be challenging and it's going to break your heart at the same time. It's going to be what what builds the foundation of the woman you're becoming.
Yeah. And I think, my brother's not very emotional. Like, he is really smart. He got the brains and no emotion, like totally repressed. But he sent me this passage, and it was from this book, and I can't remember because I didn't get the memory of remembering those kind of things. I get the memories of everything about life, but it just was like, life is hard. And, we come to the personal development world and they're like, don't say life is hard, like mindset, blah, blah, all this shit. But really what I've journeyed for the last 2 years is life is fucking brutal and we're all going to die. Everyone around us is going to die. Like I said to Griffo, when everyone started getting dementia around us, like all my friends' parents have got fucking dementia. And I said to him, I was like, do you know, if we're lucky to make it to 90, everyone around us is going to have died except for maybe our son and his family. Like really, when you think of it like that. And so when I've had a lot of these thoughts recently, and I'm like, shit, really bad shit happens to a lot of people, to a lot of us are carrying something. When you really start to just go like, well, yeah, okay, life is hard, so I may as well give it a fucking crack and have a good time, because we really and like, until you journey something, I think, so heartbreaking of watching the person that you love fade before you. And like I said, it might be that you've lost someone, or, I lost my nan, but I didn't feel this way about trying to live now and understanding hardships. But I think for me, I'm like, yeah, life is really fucking hard. But when you use it to fuel you and actually live, not to sit in your self-pity.
Yes.
And it's actually really powerful.
I say this to people often, I've been on the do the work journey, like PD for my whole life, but more the heal your wounds, consciousness, become a better human for 5 years. And I'm like, it's not getting easier, but for me, it's capacity.
100%.
So I have more capacity to be in the hard moments and to not let it throw me off.
Yeah.
To not let moments derail the bigger vision and the bigger purpose and the bigger mission. And I speak about this almost on every podcast. I think people don't know who they are enough, and they don't know what they stand for enough. Because for me, if your mission is bigger than, do you know what, I fucking hate life today because my dad's had a really hard day and that's impacted me.
Yeah.
And then you go, and I'm not going to give up because.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to waste life because.
Yeah.
It just gives you so much better perspective. And I think for me, what I'm hearing and witnessing is you walk through life with so much more appreciation.
So much more appreciation, so much more gratitude. And they've talked about it recently, especially with social media, the micro moments.
Truly.
But that for me, my dad, we've been playing basketball and, trying to get those tiny little things. And I'm like, if I just do 5 minutes of that, that fills both of our cups, that then turns into fucking 50 minutes. But that's how I was, when we were hanging out recently when they were here, because old Heidi's like, okay, I've got to work. I'm kind of one of those people, I need to be a bit routine and structured to keep me not off the rails.
Same.
Yeah. So I'm like, I try and keep to that, because otherwise it could all go out the window into shit, because I'm easily distracted. But he, I would be like, okay, I'm just going to come out for 5 minutes and do some hoops. And then it was 50 minutes later. And those moments, I can't even tell you, my dad's dementia has given me so much presence. That, even being a mum, that, we talk a lot about that, your kids, and everyone with perspective years later is I just wish I played more. I just wish I did this more. So with my dad, it's every time I see him, I'm like, this could be the last time that he remembers me. This could be the last time we do this. Now, he's not fully, he's still functioning really well, but he doesn't drive. His short-term memory is pretty fucked. He doesn't remember the things that we've said or done, but he remembers our whole life. Do you know what I mean? It's this weird, really weird place to be. But he is teaching me daily how to be present, and also the love from my son, that he is obsessed with his Poppy. And so, Poppy, you got your hat. Don't forget your phone, Poppy. And then he's like, here you go. And he's like, hold your hand. And then they're playing Uno together, and then they're laughing their heads off. So for me, I've been able to find in this polar of my worlds so much love, presence, and gratitude that, would I wish my dad had some other journey? Of course. But also I know that this is going to probably, you know, this has been the greatest healing journey for me with him, who he was a bit of a fuckwit growing up. Like truthfully, like his mum took her own life. So we lived with someone who had rage, a lot of rage. My mum and my dad didn't have the best relationship. My dad, although he worked his fucking ass off for our family, he didn't know how to control his temper, and so he drank a lot. So I have had stuff that I've needed to heal, and I'm not going to get those conversations, but I don't actually need them. Because it's healing actually through the presence, the gratitude, and the love and the patience that we get with each other now.
I love that. And again, I think it's perspective. At the end of the day, it would be nice, and also it doesn't matter. And I think I went and saw my mum for the first time in 13 years. It was 3 years ago now, and she's still a drug addict to this day. Yeah. And what I'd realized was that I expected her to love me the way like the world taught me, or like everyone else's expectations. And like I've got big T trauma. Like my mum is a drug addict. Like my mum's my abuser, actually, in the truth of it. I realized that she was never going to, I mean, she's safe to be around now because she's old. Yeah. But she was never going to love me in the way that I wanted. And I had to ask myself, could I let her love me in the only way that she knew how? And it was one of the most healing things I did, because I went and saw her, and I remember the moment I drove up to Gelton, which is where I'm from. It's on my passport, so I can't escape that fact.
Like being from Bathurst.
Yeah, but I can't hide it. And drove into this like derelict house that she was staying in, and I drove up to her, and she came out the front of the house, and like we're all tears, and I walk up to her, and like I've had a big life, like multi-million-dollar businesses, closed them, rebuilt myself, left my ex-husband, became a mum. And I walked up to her and I was like, Mum, in the past 4 years, there's been so many moments that I'd wanted my mum to like hold me and tell me it was going to be okay. And in that moment, she, I still want to cry. She reached down and she grabbed my face and she kissed the top of my head. And she looked me in the eyes and she said, Leslie, everything's going to be okay.
Quick pause. Are these conversations resonating with you? Do you finally feel seen in your business journey? This is the entire mission of Unmasked Founders. To strip back the highlight reel and tell the raw truth about multi, 6 and 7-figure success. We're here for the emotional costs, the days you want to quit, and the breakthroughs that follow. And we can bring you these essential conversations thanks to the support of our incredible partners, Cacao Collective and the OE Agency. These are the businesses who empower founders to keep going, providing the systems and the professional polish you need when you're busy navigating the emotional storm. If you love what you're hearing, don't miss an episode. Hit that subscribe button right now and check out Cacao Collective and the OE Agency in the show notes. Now, let's get back to it.
And that's all you've ever needed.
All I needed.
Yeah.
And it's like in that moment, I could like forgive her for everything else because she was doing the best she could with what she had. And I hold the duality as it doesn't make it okay what happened to me. I don't condone what happened to me. But I was never going to get the conversation. She's a drug addict still. She's not sober. I'm never going to get the conversation that I thought that I needed, or the apology, or the anything else besides in that moment I felt her love, and could I allow myself to feel her love, and almost like how long I went without feeling that love because it wasn't good enough for me. And because I wanted to punish her actually for the way she treated me, but I was punishing myself. I was the one that missed out on my mother's love. Yeah. And so I love that you found this place of like, it's so interesting. I want to label it as forgiveness, but
I kind of do too, because it's like because I think the PD world gives us so much like awareness of what's right or wrong or whatever, that then you're kind of like you go through a phase where you fucking hate your parents, and like I know I have, and I blame them for everything and all this stuff, and like they make you get that out, get these wounds and all this shit, and whereas like with my dad and probably like with your mum, because being a drug addict, it's like, I'm not going to have that because my dad is not evolved like me.
Truly.
And then now he has dementia. And,
Yes.
you know, with your mum, she's not evolved. So, yeah, it's kind of like a forgiveness for you.
Forgive and not forget sounds so trivial, but it's like, I don't want to diminish, like for my little girl and for anyone else that has gone through trauma, it's like, I don't want to diminish what actually happened.
Yeah.
So it's not like I forgive you, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, I forgive you and that wasn't acceptable.
Yeah.
And if I ever felt unsafe or if that behavior continued, I would put in place a boundary.
Yeah.
Like if,
it's weird. It's
weird.
so weird.
I'm glad
it's like,
that you get it.
Yeah, I totally get it because like I said, my dad, the reason why I'm so good at reading a room is because my dad's mood determined the house.
Yes.
So he would come home or if he was drinking and obviously being a little girl,
Yes.
like that was scary. And so I obviously got really good at trying to work out, like, is he angry at me today? Is mum angry?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they? If mum's got the silent treatment, like, and I noticed this when just before my dad got diagnosed, he lost his temper when we were on a family holiday and I hadn't seen that in years. But my son was there and he fucking opened this wound in me and I was screaming back at him like my teenage self. And in that moment, I was like, whoa. Fuck, like I just had this like out of body experience. And that was actually really quite healing for me and my dad. And we had this beautiful conversation, but then he started going down the dementia track. And I think what I yearn for me is that me and my dad could have an evolved moment of like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Truly.
But then my mate said to me the other day, fuck, you wear so much rose-colored glasses. And I'm like, people probably don't think that, but I think everyone is like me. I know you have to laugh like that because I genuinely, and I think Griffo and my friend was like, you need to take off your rose-colored glasses, Heidi. Like, don't get me wrong. I know there's fuckwit people out there and I'm scared to walk at night and all this shit. But there's a part of me that thinks that everyone could have the conversation like me.
Yes. And they can't.
They can't.
We can try to rescue someone from
good at that too.
From
fixing, rescuing.
From like there is a responsibility you have to take here. And we have to find the like boundary and the like where do we stop trying to save them because we have the capacity to hold ourselves in it. Yeah. And we have the capacity to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's such a complex, nuanced thing. Particularly for any abuse, like physical, mental, like anger as a little girl. I'm actually really similar. So, I'm great at what I do because I read what people aren't saying. I read their body language.
Yes.
I can like tell you what you're thinking and feeling just by being in your energy. Yeah. Because in my home as well, it was, you know, it wasn't just all of my family were on drugs and all of my family were violent and all of my family were abusive. So I got really fucking good at, am I safe here?
Yes.
I need to know your mood before you know your mood.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if my brother was misbehaving, it's like I would track how everyone was going to respond to that.
Yes.
Do I need to go hide? Do I need to leave?
Yes.
So fully resonate with that.
I feel that. And do you know, I think like you get to a point where like you were saying like with the rescuing thing, and I think this is something I've had to look at with myself because I've done so much work that I forget I want to help everyone but then it's like, but they're not going to have like the resilience. Like, so speaking about resilience for this, right? It's like, well, if I take them away from that because I'm giving them everything that I've learned, then they're going to miss out on what they need to learn, especially like I always think of young girls, like when I talk about being drunk on confidence and like going through all my body image stuff and, you know, I try and help some of these young girls so much and then I'm like, well, fuck no, just be there. Like you don't have to fix them because they might really need that 10 years of fucked up 20s so that they can change the world in 10 years time in their 30s like I'm trying to do.
Truly.
And I think that kind of like all rolls into it.
Yeah, so complex, so nuanced.
I know. I'm sorry, so deep. Try and keep up with our deep.
It's called Unmasked. Like this, the whole premise of this.
I know. When you message me that, I'm like, I fucking love it. This is so me. I should have worn my mask.
Yeah. So, all right. So what masks do you feel you've worn?
Yeah, I think I still wear a mask at times. And like my whole talk that I do on keynote speaking is about unmasking and I get everyone to take their mask off. Like, And that's the first thing I talk about is shedding your shit. And I think there's masks that we wear for like to protect us. And there's sometimes we have to because it's like we're fucking 2025. We've got to be respectful. So I'll put my respectful mask on. But really I want to drop a whole bunch of fuck you cunts out there. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, I'll put like I'm a broadcaster. I'm a professional broadcaster. So if I was I would put that mask on to go on TV.
Yes.
But I think the one that I'm really playing with at the moment, which is definitely been a shadow recently, actually always, is that I get angry. And so a lot of people don't see that. Griffo sees that, and then I spiral and beat myself up. Like I get easily frustrated if I have to say something more than 3 times, like to my team, to my son, to my husband, to like, you know, and obviously growing up, that was a big thing. Is like I was misunderstood as a teenager.
Feel heard.
Yeah, didn't feel heard.
And it's like it triggers the part of you that do this. I can tell whether I'm regulated because I get on the phone with like a call center.
What?
And I swear to God, they never listen. And I'm pretty okay with in person and my team and my partner.
Yeah.
But get me on the phone with a telecom company and I'm like, I literally just told you. What? And I get like unreasonably angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unreasonably.
Like cunty.
Like fuck you, I will find where you live.
Yeah. And then
destroy your computer or something. And it's like, where did that even come from? So, yeah, and thank you for sharing that here.
I just have a really funny story that I can tell you about that. So just 2 years ago, I was so frustrated at the bank and then I called them and I was obviously clearly unregulated. Called the bank. I'm like, and this girl, I was fucking giving it to her. And she's like, well, that's not the details for that bank account. She's like, but that's the bank account, but that's not. And I'm like, oh, well, I fucking rah, rah. And then as she's talking, because I'm severely unregulated, my kid's probably screaming in the other room, you know, wanting to burn my business down at the same time. Why am I not getting this speaking gig? You know, all of the shit. Why am I not good enough? All this stuff. I look at the thing and I go, fuck, I just called the NAB bank. I was with them 20 years ago. They still had my account. So everything was matching, but she was like, that's not matching. And I'm like, I've just had someone at the door. I've got to go. I'll call back later. I'm so sorry. And then I got off and I'm like, I was supposed to call Westpac.
Oh.
And then I wanted to call the girl back, but I didn't remember her name because I was being a cunt.
Yes.
And so but in that moment I was like, oh, wow, you went for it for 5 minutes at this girl, like so frustrated at her when it was you that was the dumb idiot.
Truly. So I could give you so many examples of that. I use it as my barometer, honestly. Yeah. Like I'm like, all right, I go to call them. I'm like, let's see how regulated you are, Leslie. You think you are, but are you? I'm often not.
Is it regulation? This is something that's popped up for me recently too. Or is it I genuinely, like I've write about my anxiety and I think I was like, you know, I've healed it and like I don't say I have anxiety, I experience it. But I've been doing a lot of reading again into anxiety recently because it's probably one of the number one things that women message me about. And it causes really severe irritability and anger that a lot of people don't talk about.
I love having you here because we're just going to get deep on everything.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest shadows for women.
Yeah.
And I feel this a lot actually with my partner, and praise the Lord for the man that he sent me because he has so much capacity to hold me, is I will express every emotion with that man, every emotion. Anger though, nah, I won't. I will, and I have, and we've been exploring
but it's still like.
But I would rather rescue him or not have the conversation, and I've like studied this shit for years.
Yeah,
and we've been together 12 months this weekend actually.
Ooh, happy Annie.
Thank you. And we've moved through a lot, and honestly, it's true what they say. Like, well, if you want to know yourself, get in a conscious relationship or start a business. They're the two,
and have a kid.
Like, okay, so you're right. 3.
There's 3.
Well, you can be pretty unconscious as a mum, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that is a whole other episode.
So I realized the other day that I struggle to let him see my anger. And again, I have a lot of big T trauma in my childhood and I'm exploring it now, but it's like I think I got in more trouble if I responded with anger. Yeah. And probably similar to why you having a go at your dad was really healing. It's probably because of the suppression and repression from the times that you didn't.
Yeah.
And so I think and is why your work is so important. Like we often don't feel like we have a voice as women.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not ladylike to be angry.
Yes.
And yeah, we're allowed to cry.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to be like weak, I guess. But for us to express the anger is probably frowned upon more.
I still feel so you saying that with my son, right? Like I'm trying to be as conscious as I am, get him to be emotional and all these things. And so the times that I have lost it, when I've called my mum and shamed myself or whatever, she's like, he needs to see that. He needs to see that side of you to show that it's okay as well.
And I think it's the repair.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I think it's the conversation
that we never got.
Yeah. Ever. I think it's actually one of the reasons I started doing the work was because when my son was 2, I used to have really explosive outbursts.
Yeah.
Like I'd come home from work and he would, I don't know, make a mess and I would lose my shit. And it didn't even matter. I'm fucking messy. I didn't even really care.
But it was just
But it was something like he would just do, and I would be like, I would just get angry at him.
Yeah.
And it was one of the catalysts for me, like doing breath work, and then breath work was my gateway drug to plant medicine.
Yeah.
And then all of this stuff, because I noticed that I never really showed emotion at work. I was like, I praised myself on never showing anger, never showing tears. Like I was emotionally.
Leaving your family life at the door.
Literally. Like I was emotionally on lock, but I would come home and it would spill out. So I think
I think is like so common.
So common. But I do believe, and this is where I was kind of going, that if you give yourself permission to feel your anger and express your anger, then it happens less and less. Because I find that I blow up at the guy in the telephone if I'm not speaking my anger to my partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And back to micro moments, it's like it might not be a big thing, but it might be, I feel angry at you, or because when you did this, I made it mean that I wasn't worthy.
Yeah.
Or I made it mean that you don't care about this relationship as much as me. Because anger often is a mask for something else that we're feeling.
Yeah. What they say, sadness, isn't it? Like,
or grief.
Yeah, grief.
And so, yeah, like almost this permission piece to be like, one, we're allowed to feel anger.
Yeah.
We're allowed.
Yeah.
Anger is often an indication that a boundary is being crossed.
Yeah.
And where the confusion can happen is because we don't speak the boundary in the first place, but then we get mad.
Yes.
So it could be like you asked for, I don't know, something to happen and it didn't happen. And then because it doesn't happen, they've crossed a boundary and you're mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think 1, we're allowed, but 2, I'd be really curious as to what am I not expressing that's actually causing me to not feel seen and heard.
Yeah. Well, one thing I try and do with Memphis now is like we scribble, like if I'm going, oh, I'm feeling angry, like just scribble it all out, right? Oh, on a piece of paper. And I'm like, this is mad. And I'm like, oh, I actually feel better.
I feel great.
Like, I feel actually so much better. But I think for me, I actually haven't shared this with anyone, but I genuinely looked into anger management when I was a new mum. It was 3 and 4 was the hardest time for me. You know how everyone's like the terrible 2s. I'm like, I had the best time when he was 2. It was when he started really triggering the fuck out of me in 3 and 4 with these big emotions that I couldn't control that. There was like the bear, and I can feel it in my gut. I reckon there's definitely generational trauma and anger from my dad's side with obviously what happened with his mum taking her life and his dad and everything like that. But I literally looked into it because I shamed myself so much. And then now I've done a lot of work and release, but there's still something there for me to unpack.
Because I did a lot of this work because Lincoln was the same.
Yeah.
And not everyone has, I talk about it. This will be part of my book. Like, not everyone has the luxury to take a year off and do the work. Like, I had a high 6-figure payout. So I was like, fuck the world. Yeah. I'm just going to figure out what's going on inside of here.
Yeah.
Even like 3 weeks away from my son at a time, because I was like, if I don't figure out a way to understand what this is, he's not going to get the mum that he deserves anyway. They generally trigger something that's suppressed inside of us. And it's like, you're allowed to feel that way. And you probably do have a lot of anger towards your dad because of your childhood. There's probably a lot of like unfairness that sits in your system. And what our kids can do, and Lincoln did this for me 100%, was it's almost like I got angry at him because I was such a good mum.
Yeah.
Because my little girl's like, why the fuck does he get the space to have all of his emotions
Yeah.
and expressions?
Yeah.
And like, why do you get to have this experience when my experience was kids are seen and not heard?
Yeah.
Sit down, shut up, do as you're told.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thank you for bringing this, because I think there'll be so many mums that are like, what's wrong with me?
Oh, and like I think we all probably, that's one of the hardest things in business is it's like, yeah, the systems are fucking hard. Like so many things I could tell you that are hard, but the hardest thing is probably the self-talk that we deal with, like, and the shame that so many of us carry. And like I said, I think people pedestal me because I'm like, I've done a book, I've written, I talk about stuff, but you'll see I'm talking about it's therapy for me. If I don't share, I am spiraling like a motherfucker. So this is why, like, you know, and you meet people like, don't just put all your laundry out on the internet. I'm like, why not? It's fucking done me well so far. Like I've ended up here and like, you know, I had a career out of it and everything. But like there's a thing for me that is really like quite therapeutic and feeling seen and them feeling seen and authentic. Like it is
being a mum and having a business is fucking hard.
It's so wild. Yeah.
And
then trying to like have a relationship and then putting them before your business.
This is a values thing for me. Like, honestly, I'm like, when me and Lucky first got together, I was like, if this business cost me our relationship, I don't want it. Yeah. Because I've been there. Yeah. That was my truth. Like, I literally poured everything into $1 million business and my marriage failed. Yeah. And that shifted my values for me. But yeah, to this piece around like where we shame ourselves and where we think we should be better than, I promise you, like to you and to everyone else, your son will be fine. Yeah. And it's the repair game. Yeah. And it's the permission for him to have big emotions too. Yeah. Because if you suppress that in yourself and if you set the tone that emotion's not okay, then he's going to think that too. Yeah. And I do this with my son. I actually throw a tantrum. Yeah. I have this little corner in my room. It's got one of those like squishy mats and so many pillows. And I will literally like go hit pillows, go through pillows. Yeah. And I say the same to him. Yeah. I'm like, Link, it's okay for you to be angry. Yeah. But you don't get angry at people. Yes. Yeah. So if you feel angry, go to your room and hit and throw and punch a pillow. Yeah. And it's okay for you to feel that. But you don't get to take it out on mummy and you don't get to take it out on your stepsister and you don't get to take it out on whoever. Yeah. But I think that is better than us thinking I'm not allowed to feel this emotion and I'm wrong in this emotion. Because then we're teaching them that they're wrong in their emotion too.
It's literally reparenting ourselves, isn't it?
Like reparenting while we're parenting. Who would have thought?
And then like my husband is always like, so what is Memphis going to sit there in life and go like, what did you guys fuck up? You fucked up this, mum, because we're always like analysing the parents, you know. Yes. But I mean like I've done a lot of that, but I think it's just the little day-to-day things to remind you. Like I came out of my workshop on Sunday and I'd run a workshop and then straight away there was 2 emails that people couldn't get into the workshop. And for me, my highest value, even though it was a $50 fucking workshop, I'm like, oh my God, like that is so fucked up. Why did my VA not check? That's one of her jobs. And I started spiraling. And then I said to Griffo, now I can feel it in my whole body. And I had that conversation in front of Memphis because I wanted him to know that like I've had this great thing, but then now afterwards my body's feeling disappointed and I'm in my head. And he just, you know, listened to me and Griffo just talk about it, me just being openly, you know, I feel like shit. And I can't shake it. And I'm like, and Griffo's like, why don't you go for a walk, do some nice things for you? And in that moment, I was like, oh, this is actually really good for Memphis. Like I could be like, you know, shaming myself that, oh, I shouldn't say this in front of him. But I was like, no, this is actually a good thing, like role modeling.
Truly.
I think the hardest thing for me though, if like to deep dive into all of the things is like Griffo. He is, you know, the generation of very much like he doesn't really get angry. So Memphis doesn't ever really see the emotional or cry very often. So he's a great dad. He like, but do you know what I mean?
But you're giving him that label.
Well, yeah. But I sometimes think I'm like, do we need to make Griffo more emotional?
Well, okay. I'll put my relationship polarity hat on
and listen to this, hubby.
Yeah. Well, no. We too often expect men to be like women.
Yes.
And they're not.
Yeah.
We want our men to relate to us the same way we relate.
Yeah, and they can't.
They can't.
Yeah.
Like
Chop off your dick, Griffo.
Yeah. Like, honestly, the biggest disservice we give to our partners, and again, I've studied this for years and nobody's perfect and I still find myself doing it. One, I'm a fixer, which
same.
rarely leaves space for him to lead. And I actually have to consciously, literally consciously stop myself. We actually just had this conversation today because it's our anniversary this weekend.
Yeah.
And the boss babe high achiever, fix all the problems in me, wants to pick holes in the plans that he's made because I could do it better.
Yeah.
But if I did that, now I'm consciously aware that this is in my system.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that sees how much he's carrying, that understands the season that we're in, and it would be a lot easier for him if I helped him, i.e. took over.
Yeah.
And if I did that, I would build resentment. And if I did that, I wouldn't actually be giving him space to lead.
Yeah.
And the part of me that wants to rescue wants to actually be like, let me just fix everything, please.
Yeah.
And I actually need to step back and to hold that part of me and be like, Leslie, it'll be okay, even if it's only 50% of what you could do.
Yes.
Because he needs space to like step into his leadership in the relationship. Yeah. Go into your emotion thing. Men don't feel the same way women do. They don't express emotion. They don't communicate emotion. Now, Lucky actually expresses emotion and communicates it a lot, but only with me.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so much pressure for men to show up as the leaders they're meant to be, and as, especially in Australian culture, like the stoicism of we don't talk about our emotions, we don't show our emotions. That.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. And I always need that reminder because this is what Griffos actually said to me on Sunday, because he tried to come in after I was trying to fix everything that was going on. And he was like, did you want this? He goes, there's no zucchini to go in and I've got to eat a certain way at the moment because of the liver stuff that I'm going through, which is a whole other topic for another day. And I started spiraling, and then he was supposed to be in control of dinner, but in that minute I was like, I'll just do it. Like, just, you fucked it. Like, can you not make a fucking decision? Like, that's what was going on in my head. You stupid cunt. Rah, 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 all this stuff. And then when he ended up going to the shop and getting the zucchini, I was like walking around the house like he'd fucking ruined the world.
Yes.
And then he had tears in his eyes. So he was emotional actually. Yes. And he said, I'm sorry, I didn't meet your expectations. And I was like, oh my God. I said, no, babe, it's not that. And I said, I'm feeling at the moment that everyone around me is not hearing me. And so I said, I just needed you to do that. And then you're coming in and so we had this great conversation. And I said, it's not the expectations at all. It's that, like, I want to be able to give that to you. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I should never have like annoyed you. And I go, yeah. But I said, like, what decision would you have made if you weren't trying to please me? And he goes, I would have just gone to the shop and got the zucchini. And I was like, great, just do that next time. I was like, don't fucking come and interrupt me. And like, so we had a good conversation in that.
Such a great conversation.
Yeah.
Men actually just want to please us.
Yeah. And he is like really third child, like all these things.
And women think like this.
Yeah.
Men think like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
one
straight
thing,
down. Yeah,
one thing at once.
Yeah.
And again, the reason we can get frustrated is because we think I'm holding all of these things and I still get it right.
Yeah.
You're holding one thing
and you
can't do it.
Come on, mate.
But we just expect people to, I expect people to show up in the world like I do.
Yeah.
With rose-colored glasses or think this way or feel this way. The sooner we can realize that our men are different to us and that that's okay, the more harmony.
Yeah.
And I think like space for them to get it wrong. And again, I know all of this in theory and I still work through it every day.
Yeah.
Like I catch myself in like this weekend wanting to control.
Yeah.
Not waiting for them to get it wrong. Like the parts of us that want to be like, I knew I couldn't rely on you. Or I knew I couldn't trust you.
Because it's just like you're validating.
You're validating the story you've already made up in your mind. For me, the biggest thing is the repair, the letting the tension bring forward the conversation that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And not making it mean anything.
I'm really good at making it mean something. Like so good. Like I'm a high achiever for fuck's sake. Like so I am so good at making something mean something. And Griffo is so grounded and so wise. And I swear he's been on earth before, but then he's so the opposite some other times. I'm like, where the fuck? What? You're supposed to be. But he would say something like that. And like he truly is, because I'll make something mean something all the time, which is so funny because in my work now, it's like I don't do that very often. Yeah. But it's interesting how you watch it play out in your relationship.
Oh,
and
truly.
Yeah.
And it's there to teach us and to help us evolve. And again, to the point we touched on before where life doesn't get easier.
No.
It's like if you've kind of signed up for evolution, you're going to continue to be faced with things that are going to ask you to evolve.
Yeah.
And it's being okay with that. Being okay with the differences in our relationship.
Yeah.
And being okay with what our business is asking of us, like, and our children actually, because that's the growth path that we're on.
Well, and I think that's why I could only have one kid is because I'm like, I can't give all this to any other, like another one for real. That was probably the decider for me is I was like, this child will not be anything like Memphis or have anything like I've been able to give him because I can't give any more. Like I'm at, and you know, I know that obviously that's for each and every person, but I know like for me, we go to the beach every single morning. We spent all this time and everything together that I'm just like, like I would not be able to do that if I had another kid.
Truly.
And maybe they might not need that, but I was kind of like, I don't know how people do it.
I mean, I might want a second, but
because you want to have a baby with this new guy. Well, sometimes I think, well, if something like, you know, if me and Griffo ever got divorced, I wonder if I would have another kid.
Well, do you know what's interesting? When we first got together, well, we almost didn't get together because I was 100% a yes and he was 100% a no.
Oh.
And I'm very much still now, and even in that conversation, like I won't sacrifice what I want for anyone because I did that for so long.
Yeah.
And it's not even about compromise for me. It's like, if you want it and someone else can change your opinion, then it wasn't something you wanted in the first place. Yeah. We've got to understand where it comes from, because I also sat with for a long time, do I want it just because that's what I think I should do versus what I actually want?
100%.
And we got to this point actually recently where we still don't know what we're going to choose, but I completely let go and he actually bought into the idea.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should have a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know now because I'd let go of the idea.
This is literally me and Griffo, and we did a whole like series on our podcast, First Time Parents. We did relationship live therapy with James Fish-Gill.
Love James.
Because, you know, he's a communication coach.
Yes.
And he actually said the fact that you guys are sitting here and having these really tough conversations, because Griffo didn't want another kid and I thought I did.
Yeah.
I had to explore all the reasons why I wanted. And it was like, you know, because 2 kids, like, don't you have a girl? Try for a girl after you've had a boy, and like all society and everything like that. And then when I truly sat with it, I was like, okay, I'm going to be 40. I'm like, I'm going to be 40. Do I really want to do all this again? Do I have the capacity to go to the beach every single day, which I would want to do with this kid and all these things? And then because we kind of met each other, where we're meeting each other, I've kind of gone like, okay, I don't know if I do want a kid anymore. And whereas Griffo didn't really change so much, but it was more like we did. Like it was.
So my talk is on sacrifice versus compromise.
Yeah.
And how we say that it's compromise, but really we're sacrificing something.
Yes.
But the nuance is, do we truly know what our truth is? And oftentimes we don't take the time to ask what our truth is, to have the difficult conversations, to sit in inquiry with who we are and to ask where it came from. Because I ended my marriage because I realized that I didn't do it for me. I did it because everyone else said that's what I should do.
Yeah.
And me and my ex-husband are great friends because in that there was a lot of healing, because I actually got to figure out who I was. I got to show up better as a mum. I got to show up better. Me and my ex-husband actually should have never gotten married.
Yeah.
Our values are like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
We think differently. We want different things. We value different things. We were never actually moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have had the difficult conversations and sat in inquiry.
Yeah.
And I think that is more what it's about than actually saying yes and no, and finding out whether it's a sacrifice because you think you should or whether it is a compromise because that's what life's asking of you.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that is exactly where so many people don't explore. And for me, I also then came to the conclusion of if this is what like alignment, right? And trusting in the
Truly.
higher being or highest, that like if I'm supposed to have another kid, it will happen. Whether
Truly.
he's fucking in it or not, like it's going to happen because this isn't I can't control it. So
literally what I came to.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if this is God's plan and I trust that God brought me this man and, like he literally was like to the T, rocked up at my doorstep, claimed me. We had the conversation. I told him that I wanted another conversation. And then the part of me that wants to control because I can fix everything wanted an answer right there, right there, yes or no, black and white.
Yeah.
And I really had to rest in, well, if I say I trust life and if I say I trust God and if I say I trust the man that I'm with, then I trust that we will find whatever the truth is here.
Yeah.
And can I be okay with that? Because Miss High Achiever, hyper independent, wants the answers today. And the part of me that's learnt that I'm never going to get them and can I just trust probably needed to take the steering wheel at that time. And I'm glad she did because a year on and we're almost back in I don't know because he's a yes and I'm a like, oh, I'd gotten okay with no. So now I actually get the space to sit with what's true here. Yeah. And we can make a decision together from that space. Thank you for your conversation today. This has been, honestly, we could talk for hours and hours and hours. So I would love to know what's one thing for the women that are listening and maybe some men as well, but for the women that are listening that are like, fuck, business is hard, being a mum is hard, like life feels really fucking hard right now and I do want to burn it all down and I do want to give up because you and me, and we didn't really speak about this, we're like comeback queens almost. We have burnt it down. We did come back. We did rebuild. We're still alive. Some days are great and some days suck, but we're here. What's like one thing you want to leave those listeners with?
That it's just acceptance. Like it's just fucking accept it. And I'm still a work in progress. But I think when you accept that life is hard, you are going to die. Everyone around us is going to die. Your business could potentially fail, but it might not. Like, do you know what I mean? That if we just accept that everything is hard, like that's the truth. Like
I love that.
Yeah.
And I say choose your hard.
Yeah.
Because not following your dreams is hard. Yeah. Because of the self-judgment and the criticism and the knowing that you haven't lived up to your potential. But choosing them is also hard because you have to face your bullshit. You've got to do the work.
Yeah. And like, confront the shit in your head and everything. But like, I always, and this has been the greatest work the last couple of years is like I imagine myself on my deathbed. And when you do that and like, and I think about that and I'm like, I know that I'll be celebrating. Like I won't be sitting there going like, oh, I've set that system up or whatever. But I'll be like, fuck yeah, I impacted lives on the stage. Fuck yeah, I loved hard. Fuck yeah, I spent time with my family. And that is because I decided to do the things that were fucking hard.
Thank you. I love that. Now, where can people find you?
Oh, I really fucked up. So you'll probably find it hard to find me on Instagram @_Heidi Anderson. So yeah, there's an underscore there. That's pretty much where I hang out. So for those who aren't on Instagram, then like, don't know, just find HeidiLeeAnderson.com.au. You'll chuck it all in there.
I will. I'll chuck everything in the show notes. I'll tell everyone to join your program because I'm in it and it's great.
Pitch like a publicist will teach you how to get on podcasts like this.
Oh, love it.
And then in the media as well.
And then in the media, all the things.
Share your stories with the world and buy my fucking book.
Yeah,
bitches.
buy her book. Sign up. I tell everyone to join.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. There was some stuff that I'm like, oh, there's headlines in there for the media when you were speaking.
Yes.
I was like, but don't say it, Heidi.
Yeah, me and you will go over the show notes later.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for your generosity of time, your heart, your vulnerability, your truth. You're truly one of my favorite people in the world.
I appreciate you.
And thank you.
Thank you for listening to Unmasked Founders with me, Leslie Kay. Follow Leslie Kay on social media for more insights, and we'll see you in the next episode. You can find me at Leslie with a Z, Kaye. Check the show notes for how to spell my name. Remember, true success is built from the inside out.